justice and peace and equality.
All right. Game Changers Magazine, GCM Network, Voices of the Village podcast, City of McDonough with Councilman Scott Reeves. How are you today, Councilman?
Doing great. How are you?
Great. Who is Scott Reeves? Tell us all about you, man.
Wow. Well, it's really pretty boring. I was born and raised in McDonough all my life. I'm one of the few people usually in the room that's been here all their life, as long as I have, 65 years.
Wow.
So, my grandfather started the theater up on the square, Clay Plaza.
Okay.
So they brought me home from the hospital to underneath the show. And I guess I started out in show business, you could say. And anyway, so my family owned and operated that for a number of years. And so my mother was from here, and my dad was from down in Milner, Georgia, near Barnesville.
Okay.
They met in college and married, and they moved here to McDonough, and this is where we've been residing ever since.
Awesome.
And I have brothers and sisters, and interestingly enough, my father was a city councilman for 22 years.
Okay.
I have a sister that was a council person, and a brother.
Okay.
So last thing on my mind was serving, you would think. But you know, it's that deal about either put up or shut up.
Yes.
And so a few years back, there was a vacancy going to be on the council.
Okay.
And I determined that it was time to put up and you know, be a part of what was going on. So, and I was very naive about that.
Okay.
And I had certain things that I was really interested in, and still am, such as zoning issues.
Okay.
But as I got involved, I really fell in love with the process, and I took it on as a ministry.
Okay.
Only way I was willing to do it. And so I fell in love with the people.
Right.
And basically being a part of a very important council that serves people, the citizens, and then also serves the employees and the staff of the city.
Okay.
And so it's been a real blessing to me, something I never really thought about much when running. And now being a part of that has been very meaningful for me. It was very much a part of my decision to recently rerun for another 4 years.
Okay.
And I feel like we've done a lot of great things and have a lot of more great things left to do.
Okay.
And I've thoroughly enjoyed working with the people on the council and made great friends, and which I'm sure will be lifelong friends. And I think that anybody will agree, from being able to get on television or online and see other councils and commissions and how they operate. We are a very, very amicable group of folks that love each other. We all love the Lord, and so we yield to that. And I'm just so pleased to be serving with these folks and doing the job that we do as a team.
Awesome. Now, you're the councilman over District 3.
District 3, that's correct.
Which includes Main Street, McDonough, the downtown development.
It does.
Which looks totally opposite than it looked 100 years ago.
Right.
Tell us some of the improvements that you've seen in this area and some of the things that you've seen develop over the time that you've been here.
Yes, thanks for asking that question, because that's another area that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much. But as the 3rd District Council person, I am over the McDonough Main Street, and therefore I'm a member of the Main Street Board. And so being involved with those people, who are a great team of volunteers, we've accomplished quite a bit in doing what's best in promoting Main Street.
Okay.
And in doing so, every event that takes place basically on the square is through Main Street.
Okay.
We've had some great successes there. I really want to share what's coming, because I think people this is something to really look forward to, is we're going to be doing a complete landscape overdo.
Oh, wow.
If that's the word. On the square.
Okay.
And it's going to be a big deal.
Okay.
And I think people are going to really appreciate that. So we've got that coming. And we've got other great projects that we're working on as well in the coming future. So yeah, and I'm just so pleased with the way the Main Street people operate.
Awesome. Now, as you see Henry County grow and progress, diversity, inclusion, new people, different cultures, what do you see McDonough going forward in reflecting forward? What does that mean to you?
Well, yeah, you kind of said it all, actually. I think a key word there is diversity.
Okay.
And so I know that, and like I said, been here all my life. So
Right.
I've really seen a lot,
Okay.
as a young person, and seen the struggles, for, people to come together.
Okay.
And so I'm just appreciative of the way our council operates in that perspective.
Okay.
And for me, they're my brothers and sisters, regardless of what their background is or their race or,
Right.
ethnicity, whatever it is.
Okay.
So same way in the city. I represent people, and I said that when I was elected. I said,
Right.
I'm writing to people who voted for me. I said, thank you. And I said, and for those who didn't vote for me, I want to say that I'm going to serve you just as if you did.
Right.
I don't know who you are and who you aren't.
Right.
So regardless of where you're at or what's happening, if you're in my district, you're my responsibility, and I intend to, one thing I say, I'm the people's voice here at City Hall,
Okay.
and I will be your voice.
Absolutely. Now I want to go back because you said something interesting about Clay Plaza and the movie theater that your father had built. So that means you were a kid when these things were going on. That means you played in the square. You met people in the square. What did that look like growing up for you as a kid? We just got to know.
Yeah, well, it was great. It was like Mayberry. We
Okay.
had, seriously,
Okay.
I think back then they had one police car, a wonderful gentleman who I specifically remember is Mr. Boots Welch.
Okay.
And we have a park named after him. And just what a lovely gentleman he was, and just, I don't know if anybody in the room here knew him.
Oh, yes, sir. We know it.
What a beautiful man that he was, and his disposition. And we teenagers certainly appreciated him. He let us slide a little bit, if we were going a little too fast around the square. Used to you do the circle around the square
Right.
without stopping. And I think I may have been here when the first red light showed up on the square.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We used to ride. We moved off of the square. I only was on there about a year as a baby,
Okay.
infant, and we moved back over to, we're in my district now, 257 Decatur Road.
Okay.
And we actually had ponies and horses in a pasture over here.
Oh,
and
wow.
we would ride our ponies and horses uptown and tie them to the parking meters and go into Conkle's Five and Dime and buy bubble gum for a penny a piece.
Oh man, awesome. Movie theater, 80 ice cream parlors. Like what did the square look like? Was it still a business development, or
It sure was. Certainly before the years of before the malls. So this
Okay.
is before South Lake Mall, South DeKalb Mall.
Okay.
I can remember as a teenager that was a big date night. To drive up to South DeKalb Mall, 30, 40 miles from here, and go to Shaky Straw Hat Pizza.
Okay.
And so that was a date night, and then go into the mall and walk around, and buy a cassette. Nobody reading this is gonna know what a cassette is, but anyway,
Right.
an 8-track or something like that. So, but the downtown was still vibrant when I was young. And even, the department stores, that's where we'd buy our shoes. I can remember going in and buying shoes from the Goldsteins.
Okay.
And, there was different meat markets and so forth on the square. When I was a teenager, a buddy of mine worked. It was called My Uncle's Ice Cream Parlor.
Okay.
And it was in the building right now where Kirby G's is.
Okay.
And so a fella opened that up. And if you didn't know the phone, this is funny. You'd call and the operator and try, I want the number to my uncle's ice cream parlor, and they'd say, well, what's your uncle's name?
Right. Okay.
So, and I had a buddy that worked there and some other friends, and so we'd go in and get sodas and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was very much like Mayberry, as I said earlier, growing up, and it was a really thriving. Now, going all the way back before I was born, my father talks about that on Saturday, downtown McDonough is when the folks came in the mule wagons.
Right.
From the country.
Okay.
Mule wagons, and he said it was shoulder to shoulder. If you were walking on the sidewalk, it was like walking down the streets in Disney World or Disneyland where you're going side by side, people shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, wow.
And that's how it was every Saturday in McDonough.
Oh, wow. Wow. I did not know that. I did not know
Yes.
that. Celebrating 200 years, Mayor Vincent vision for the city is reflection forward. What does that mean, and how does that highlight in you moving forward in your district and working together with your brothers and sisters as a team in moving this city forward in development?
Sure, I think that we all probably don't think about it at the time, and I hardly ever do, but sometimes I do pause and try to reflect on, now.
Right, right.
And forward. And so, realizing that we're going to be an important part of history. Okay. And that we are an important part. And back earlier this year, we were in Washington, D.C., and I remember walking around there and thinking, because all we are the council members of a little town somewhere a lot of people have never heard of. Right. But I thought about it and I'm like, wait a minute. If the city of McDonough is not in place doing what they do, right, and everyone doing their part, then it doesn't work. Right. I mean, the federal government only governs and only takes care of certain responsibilities to a point. Right. But if we're not here as a city doing our part, there's going to be a real gap. It's just not going to get done. Yes. So I think about that, not trying to build up my ego or anything, but I think about that it is important. Right, right. The decisions that we make are important. And I think that the mayor has a great vision for that, and that she leads us well as a council as we're preparing for this. And, it's really an exciting time. And I'm just glad that I'm an old guy that people are letting me be a part of it, and that the voters gave me that opportunity to come and be their voice for the next 4 years. And I hope that we'll make a difference. I think we can. That will be a positive movement for the next 200 years. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Want to wish the city a happy birthday, celebrating 200 years. Thank you. Oh, do I want to? Yes, sir. I absolutely do. I want to thank all of the people involved in this, the everyday operations of the city, because so much is going on apart from just preparing for this type of celebration. I can remember when I was a kid, I think it was in 1976, maybe it was the sesquicentennial, I believe. Okay. 150 years, 170, something like that. And what a great experience that was. I was a teenager then. Right, right, right. So with that said, just want to thank everybody for what they're doing and the efforts that are being made for this celebration. I'm looking forward to it and being a part of it. Okay. And I invite everyone to plug in and be involved some kind of way. Awesome. Councilman Scott Reeves, Game Changers Magazine, GCM Network, Voices of the Village podcast, City of McDonough, reflecting forward, celebrating 200 years. Want to thank you for taking the time out, Councilman, and sharing your story with us. Thank you. Awesome.